Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86. Among some of the newer Redragon keyboards that are appearing, this is one of them. This is the EISA Max. Hope I'm saying that right. That's kind of my best guess. In the box, we have the EISA Max keyboard, a USB A to C cable, some additional 5-pin linear Mambo mint green switches, a switch and cap puller, and a quick start guide. So it's a dampened, solid typing experience featuring the linear switch I just referred to, the mint Mambos. And the keyboard has a thocky sound, largely owing to the multiple layers of the sound pad that I just mentioned also. And what I can say about the experience typing on the EISA Max is that it's a pleasant experience. I typically enjoy this kind of sound. I like the thockier, kind of smoother sounds, less of the click-clack. But I do have some personal gripes about the keyboard itself, and I'll get into that in just a bit. Firstly, I know most people want to hear that Tippity Tap Test, so let's pause right here, and hopefully it will help you form an opinion. It's a nice, almost full-size keyboard featuring a 10 key. Notable missing keys are the end and home. Instead, they left a page up and page down. Maybe it's a me thing, or at least a me thing and people I know thing, but I would prefer to have the end and home already pre-programmed at the top, instead of page up and page down. That being said, it can be swapped via the software. The keycaps will just read page up and page down instead of end and home. Maybe in the future they could include those keycaps so that people could decide whether they wanted it to be end and home or page up, page down, and keep with the continuity of the keyboard. While we're talking about keycaps, this is the personal gripe I have. I don't love these keycaps. They feel off, a bit weird, and they have less fingertip real estate in my opinion, which makes it a lot less of an enjoyable experience to type on. Really, that's just on a personal level though, and I don't find them enjoyable, but you might. They can be swapped for other keycaps because they use cross-stem switches that are capable of accepting other keycaps, so if there's keycaps you like, you could definitely put those on there. At the top right is a volume wheel. It can depress and should swap to lighting controls and brightness, but on mine it doesn't seem to be working. The box did come a little damaged, so maybe it took some slight damage in transit, I'm not sure. I tried using the function and arrow keys, and that successfully controls the brightness and the speed, and function and the insert button will allow me to swap between some basic onboard modes for RGB. On the right side of the keyboard is a hideaway for a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. Alternately, you can connect with a USB cable to go wired mode or use Bluetooth. Bluetooth will net you the best battery life, but it may be the least dependable connection. At least in my experience, Bluetooth connections sometimes are hit or miss. Your lighting options will greatly impact your battery performance. So if you're running full brightness lights on all the time, that's definitely going to take an impact on how long your battery life lasts, but you should expect a solid many hours out of the battery. Now, in order to swap between the different modes on the keyboard, if you take a look on the left side of the keyboard, this is where your connection toggles are, as well as one that'll let you go to Mac if you're a Mac user, or set it back to PC if you're a PC user. But over here's where you can swap between 2.4 gigahertz, Bluetooth, and wired mode by turning it off and just plugging in the cable. On the underside of the keyboard are 4 rubber feet, and they are 2-stage risers in the back. This helps you find your ideal positioning for the keyboard. I like seeing this, seeing a lot of 2-stage risers coming on keyboards. It's a nice little extra benefit, a small thing, but a big thing at the same time. Redragon software makes it easy to set up simple macros, reassign keys, as well as opens up more full customization for the experience of your RGB lighting. Like with most of their keyboards, it strikes a fine balance for being there if you want it. The software, that is. But it's not necessary like in most of Redragon's keyboards, and in a lot of these keyboards, to be honest. You don't have to go with software. You don't have to use the software. But if you're looking for that little bit more, it's always a good option to have it, and they have it here. While the whole bezel feels like a nice heavy-duty plastic, there are some general aesthetic feel to this keyboard that I personally don't love, and that's a 100% me thing, of course. But if it is to you also, then you may kind of look at it and say it's sort of got this Fisher-Price look to it, and I don't know if I enjoy that aesthetic of this keyboard as much as I do some other ones, but maybe I'm old-fashioned. Look, I hope this was somewhat helpful and useful to you. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video that I do.